Hi, I'm Chef Brendan Darby. We're here in Santa Cruz, California at Love Apple Farms, home of some of the best tomatoes in the world. And today I'm going to show you how to use your garden tomatoes to make a delicious spaghetti sauce. Our ingredients we have are our garden fresh tomatoes, a bunch of heirloom varieties, very different all among them. We have our onions, a little goat cheese brie, some arugula, our white wine infusion, as well as some goat cheese milk. We're going to start by caramelizing our onions in our pot here. A little bit of olive oil. Get a nice good sizzle on those. We want to brown those, get them nice and caramelized. While that's caramelizing, I'm just going to dice up a couple more of these garden tomatoes. We want to remove that little green top as well as the little white pith that comes with it when you pull it out. Throw it out, and then we're just going to slice it in half. Cut it into long strips. We're just going to dice these into little cubes like the other ones. You can do different sizes. It's really fun to use all your extra tomatoes in spaghetti sauces and things like that, just because like you can use white ones, you can use yellow ones, you can use green ones. There's so many different types you can use. Our onions are starting to caramelize a little bit. I'm just going to give those a good stir. Dice up the other side here. And with your larger tomatoes, you tend to have a little bit more juice, as you can see on my cutting board here. What that means is I want to reduce my tomatoes down a little bit more when I'm cooking them. It's totally fine. It means you're going to have more flavor in your sauce, and it's going to be very delicious. I'm going to add my garlic right now, right before I deglaze. That way it doesn't burn. Give it a good stir. And I'm going to add my white wine infusion to my pot. We're going to do that to clear all the little brown bits off the bottom there. Give that a good stir. And once that gets back to a simmer, I'm going to add all my tomatoes. I have a bunch of different varieties here. I've got red, yellow, purple, and a bunch of different cherry tomatoes as well. What I want to do right now is add a little bit of honey though, because we are using garden tomatoes and they're not typically meant for sauces. We want to add a little honey just to counteract the acidity. And then I'm going to chop a couple of herbs. We're going to use lovage, which is one of my favorite herbs. It's similar to parsley, a little bit of basil and a little bit of rosemary. It's really great to have garden fresh herbs when you're doing tomato sauces, just because you get brighter flavors, they're stronger, you don't have to use as much as you would if you had bought it from the store. So we're just going to pull all these herbs off here. Get 2 sprigs of rosemary. I love fresh rosemary. So I'm just going to give these a rough chop. Since they're fresh, they break down really easily and do really well in big chunks, unlike the dried herbs. And then, since they're fresh, they break down really easily, and I am going to add my goat cheese brie. When I add this, it's going to cream it up just a little bit. We want this to melt and break down. We're going to stir this in, breaking down that goat cheese brie. Getting nice and creamy there. That's perfect. I'm going to add just a little bit of goat milk here. It gives it a nice rich flavor, a little bit savorier. I prefer it to cow's milk or cream or anything like that, just because of the flavor. It's a different flavor that most people haven't tried, so we like to try new and exciting things. So now this is nice and creamy and really reduced. Our flavors are concentrated and looking really nice. I'm going to season with a little black pepper. And a little bit of salt. We're going to finish it with a little bit of the balsamic vinaigrette reduction. Drizzle just a little bit on top. Deepens the flavor a little bit, more complex, which we're going for. It makes that color really shine. So I'm just going to grab my pasta. I have a mix of tortellini and some ravioli. I like to be playful with my pastas and mix them up and do different ones. And then we're going to top it off with a little bit of arugula. We don't want to cover up all our tomatoes though. And then a couple pieces of mozzarella, just torn off. And those will melt right on top. I hope you enjoyed my recipe for using garden tomatoes in a spaghetti sauce. If you want to learn how to make handmade pasta or any of the pastas that I used, you can check out my website at brendandarby.com.